Hi you guys, it's Karen with Love Your Land, and I'm making cookies because it is Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas Eve. I'm making snowball cookies. I don't know if you guys have ever made them from scratch, but you can also buy them in the store, and they're not the same at all. They're just not the same. They're pointless in my opinion. They're very disappointing actually is what it is, because my mom made these when I was a kid. She's always made them. And so I now make them every year. I've made them every year for I don't know how long, years and years. And they're really, really easy. There's very little nutritional value in them, but I don't think that's what Christmas cookies are about, right? We have 4 cups of flour in here. Probably can't see all these things. 2 cups of pecans, chopped, kind of small. 8 tablespoons of powdered sugar. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And wait for it, a pound of butter, because why make cookies if there isn't a pound of butter in them? Just kidding. The other thing that I have is I have more powdered sugar here in a bowl, and that's for after when you roll them in it. So we're just going to leave that off to the side. Off camera, I went ahead and whipped this butter up. Again, it was a pound, and I let it soften a little bit, and then just used my hand mixer to do it. You could use a stand mixer if you wanted to, but when it's something really small like that, I just prefer the hand mixer because it's a lot less cleanup. So once that's all whipped up, you're going to add it, your pound of butter that is. I'm excited just thinking about it. I get excited about yummy food. So you add your whipped up pound of butter to your 4 pounds of flour. These are like the easiest cookies in the world. And I don't know if you noticed, but if it's not easy, I don't really bother with it. Okay, so get all that in there, all that buttery goodness. Then you just add everything. We have, again, 8 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I don't know where to put anything. I'm all discombobulated today. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 2, what did I say? Cups of pecans. Does it get any easier than this? I don't think so. And then you just stir it up. I'll tell you while I'm stirring, give you guys something to contemplate while we're doing this. First of all, this is going to be a pretty crumbly dough, as you can imagine. I mean, just try to imagine the consistency of basically butter and flour. There's no eggs, there's no water, there's no, I don't know, really hardly any liquid at all except for the couple of teaspoons of vanilla, but that doesn't help matters much. So what I do is I get it pretty well mixed up. I mean, I get it mixed up as far as I can get it, because it's, if you make these, you'll see it's very, very crumbly. And then to sort of activate the butter, I use my hand. My hands are clean. I just washed them. And I just go through and mix it, kind of squeezing and mixing at the same time, almost kneading sort of in a way. And that, like I said, that sort of marries the butter and flour together, and also mixes in your pecans really well too. Once you get done with this, it's still going to be pretty crumbly, but that's okay. What was the other thing I was going to tell you? Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you is when you cook these, I'm telling you this because I've made the mistake in the past of thinking that I needed to wait for the outsides of the cookies to get golden brown. Don't check you cook these for, depending on your altitude and whatnot, you cook these for about 15 to 25 minutes. But after 10 minutes or so, start checking the bottoms of the cookies, because that's where you're looking for the golden brownness, not the tops. If you wait for the tops to get golden brown, the bottoms are black. And then you have sad snowballs. Okay, that's pretty well mixed up. So you can see it's really crumbly, but when it holds together like that, that's what you want. So brush off my hands a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do, sorry that was loud, still loud. I'm going to try using a cookie, whatever this is called. Yep, it's going to work out great. So what I used to do in the past was I would take just like a little, it's probably like a teaspoon, and I would roll it up, squeeze it, and then roll it up, and it's real time consuming. But they work. I mean, that's how I've always done it. But this time I'm just going to kind of jam the cookie dough into this cookie scoop, I think it's called, and release, and do it that way. So I already see the disadvantage of using this, but I'm still going to use it because it's faster. I can make these smaller. These are kind of big, and what you want to do is make sure that you can put the whole cookie in your mouth, like all at once, because if you try and bite this, you're going to have like crumbs all over you and powdered sugar all over you, and you know, if you're hosting a party and everybody's walking around all messy. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to make you watch me do all this, but you just go through. They're not going to expand at all, so you can put them like right next to each other, and that's just fine. So I'll do this. You guys go sit down, watch a football game or something. There's no football on right now, is there? I don't know. Such a sports fan. Okay, I'm going to do this, and then when I'm done, I'll show you what we do next, okay? 1 second. Okay, I got all these on here. Actually, I didn't get them all on here. I got about half of that bowl of dough on here, and there's already 40 cookies on here. So these, by the way, also make a lot. But don't worry, you'll eat them. So I'm going to pop these in the oven real quick before I throw them on the floor. Again, I'm going to set my timer to about 15 minutes, maybe 13 for now, because I don't want them to burn underneath. Okay, so while those are cooking, we're going to make a second cookie. And this is my other favorite cookie from my childhood, and it's Thumbprint cookies, raspberry Thumbprint cookies, which I know a lot of you know how to make, and you make them probably every year, but do I need to say it again? Some of you have never made them. So it's, again, real easy recipe. It's a little more, there's a little more to it, but not much. And the sun is now in a weird place, so if I have like sun on me, sorry. So this is less butter. It's only a half a cup of butter. Pff, hardly worth it. So we're going to add that in to a bowl, and it's already been softened a little bit. And let's see, a half a cup, that was a half a cup of butter, sorry. A quarter cup of firmly packed brown sugar. So add that to your bowl. And then the egg of 1 yolk, you save the whites because we're going to do something with that after. So 1 egg yolk. It's a little tricky to get in there. Kind of doesn't want to go in. And that's it for the initial ingredients. So I'm going to set this spoon aside because I'm going to be using it in just a minute. But you go ahead and use your hand mixer to blend this up. This is going to be loud, but I'll cut this out. I'm going to blend this up real quick, and then we'll add the other ingredients, okay? Hang on just a second. Easy. Okay, now we're not going to use the mixer anymore because we don't need it. The next step is 1 cup of flour. It says sifted. I don't have a sifter. I've never had a sifter, and I've made this so many times, so I'm not going to worry about it. So that was 1 cup of flour, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So like that much. And now you just stir this up with your spoon. This makes far less cookies. I'm going to guess this is maybe going to be a dozen, might be 2 dozen, I don't know, but as you can see, compared to that other bowl, which was just all these cookies. But that's all right because they have the raspberry jam in them, so they're a little bit richer, a little bit more rich, however you say that, than the Snowball cookies. So it all works out. Okay, so once you get your dough all mixed up, then you take that egg white that you had set aside and you beat it with a fork until it's fluffy. I have this nifty gadget. It was this like guy on a stage at the grocery store, and he was pitching these things, and I was like, why not? I'll give it a whirl, and I love it. I don't really use it that often, but when I do, it works really well. I have a dog behind me that wants out, so if he makes noise, I apologize. Anyway, then you take your little 1-inch cookies and dip them in the egg white, I'm sorry, and then place them on the paper. And then repeat. And once you get all these rolled up and dipped in the egg white, they'll be ready for the oven. Now these actually cook at 375. I think I forgot to tell you, the Snowball cookies, they only cook at 350. These are 375, so you're gonna have to do them one at a time, but I'm gonna set, because those cookies don't have any egg or anything like that in them, I'm gonna set that dough aside once these are done and go ahead and get these in there and show you what we do with them after that. So I'll get these done and then I'll show you what we do when they're all in here. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, the timing's working out great. My husband just texted me and said he's on his way home from the ham store. So, I can't film if people are here. So I'm gonna do this quickly. So these Snowball cookies just came out of the oven. The Thumbprint cookies, the oven just heated up to 375, so now I'm gonna put these in. And these, you cook in 2 parts. You cook for exactly 5 minutes. You cook those for exactly 5 minutes. Then you take them out, put a thumbprint in them, using a piece of foil so you don't burn your finger. Put a thumbprint in them, and then put them back in the oven for 8 minutes more. I knew it was 8. Now, with the Snowballs, when you're putting the powdered sugar on them, rolling around in there, you want to do it when they're hot, but the problem is you burn your fingers. So, at least for the first half of them, I like to use whatever this is I'm using. What is this called? What is it called? I have no idea. I have no idea. It's not going to come to me. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that weird how it's such a common word? See, they're already cooled off enough to where they're not burning me. So you're just going to put some in here, and I'll put this, what is this called? Spatula? Doesn't seem right. Anyway, you just roll them around the powdered sugar until you get them all coated. And again, you want to do that while they're hot so that the powdered sugar sticks to them. Because again, these are basically made of butter, so while they're nice and warm, the powdered sugar is going to stick pretty nicely. And they don't have to be globbed with powdered sugar, just dusted, basically. I mean, they're going to be dusted once you roll them around there. When you take them out, that's all that's going to be left is a little dusting, and that's perfect. So you can see how easy this is. I'm almost done. And those aren't even done. I meant to make one really tiny one so I could eat it while we're together here, but I didn't. And so if I try to eat one of these whole, I'm going to be making a mess. So guess you don't get to see me eat one. Who cares? Anyway, when I'm done with the thumbprints, what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to take them out in 5 minutes and put a thumbprint in them, and then I'm going to cook them again for 8 minutes. I'm going to take them out, I'm going to let them cool for a little bit, and when they're sufficiently cool, I'm going to add a little dollop of raspberry jam to them. You could use any jam you wanted. I just think that raspberry's best, so that's what I'm going to use. Look we're almost done, and I've managed to keep talking this entire time. It's like a Christmas miracle. Uh-oh, you don't have enough on you. Okay. Almost done. Oh, by the way, I know another thing that I learned. That cookie scooper, instead of hand rolling these into balls, which again is what I've done every time my whole life, it's very time consuming. That cookie scooper, even though they make them a teensy bit bigger if you put them all the way, fill it all the way up, what I did was I just smashed it down so they weren't quite all the way full, maybe 3/4 of the way full. Not the scooper was about 3/4 of the way full with the cookie dough. And that made these just perfect. One other tip is you don't have to put pecans in them or any nuts. My son has never met a nut he liked, so I'm going to do this whole thing over again with maybe a half batch with no nuts, just for him, because he loves them. He just doesn't want the nuts in there. Ta-da! Snowballs. Okay, this is the first time that I've done a video with you guys where I didn't have my dishes done. and I'm not worrying about it at all. How about that? Let's see. There's about 1 minute and 20 seconds left on that clock. So when they're done, I'll take them out and I'll show you how to press the thumbprints in them. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, how about that for timing? The timer just went off. I just got this all cleaned up and now this is ready for us. Okay, these guys in this stage are not done at all. But we cooked them for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to take my little handy dandy save my thumb piece of foil and just form it around my thumb and press thumbprints into the tops of them. They're so cute. They're a little gooey kind of right now, but it's okay. And I like, they kind of crack a little bit on the sides sometimes when you do this, but I think it just makes the cookies look even more sort of like Grandma made them. Okay, get these all pressed in there, and you'll find when you do this that the you know, bigger thumbprint you make, the more jelly you can put in there. So maybe you don't want that much. So just kind of gauge it. But if you do want a lot, then you're going to need to make space for it. Okay, how easy is this? I'm glad these are my favorites because otherwise I wouldn't be doing this with you guys. All right, thumbprints are in. Now we're going to throw these back in there. I only have 1 cookie sheet if you're wondering why this is in a casserole dish. Whatever. Sorry, loudness. And 8 more minutes. Okay, so when that's done, I'll show you the next step. Be right back. Okay, they're done, finally. These actually took longer than 8 minutes on that second part of the cooking. I don't know why. They just did. I don't know that I've made them in this oven, so that's probably why. I would say they took about 15 minutes, actually. And in that time, my husband got home. Yeah, so I just saw something. But he was kind enough to go upstairs and read, so we can finish making cookies. Anyway, once they're cool, and you really want them to be cooled off pretty well, because when you're trying to get them out of off the cookie sheet, or out of the casserole dish in my case, they're very delicate cookies, so you want them to cool and firm up a little before you try to handle them. Another tip I'm going to tell you is that when I took them out of the oven, I went ahead and put my little thumb guard back on and poked the thumb prints back in there, because we're still kind of in there, but they do tend to puff up a little bit. So poke them back in there and then let them cool like that. I have seedless raspberry jam that I'm going to use, and I just stirred it up a little bit. And you really don't need very much. You just want to put a little taste in the middle. You don't want it to be like a big old jelly cookie, because that's a little bit much. So you just go ahead and add a little blob to each cookie. And that's it. I'll do this off camera. But how easy was that? We made 40 cookies here. I have at least double this over there in that bowl. And then this was, I think, 19 cookies. I already ate one, so now there's 18. But that's it. I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. This is a pretty special time of year, and I know I love it. Really glad that you guys have been with me on this journey thus far, and I'm very excited that actual gardening is going to commence here in just a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for hanging with me while we just did sort of silly non-gardening related videos, but it's been fun, and it's been fun getting to know you guys, and I enjoyed letting you get to know me a little bit too. So that's it. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.